Okay, so of course, Georgia Milestones is coming up. So we're going to go over your examiner responsibilities and activities, and I'm going to talk fast because, of course, a lot of you already know these roles and responsibilities. And it's basically the same way it was last year. It's just going to be a little bit different. Okay, so are you ready? And here's what's going to get you ready. Your TAM, if you hear me refer to a TAM, of course, that's your Testing Administration Manual. It is available online. I'm going to give you the link for it. It's on our website too. Just make sure that you read that and you know how to administer a test, which of course you do. Just become familiar with it. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. The testing environment will be set up. We are going to test in classrooms. You will have to cover material in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classrooms. I'm sorry, I know that's a pain. I'll come help you if I need to. But I was going to do it in the cafeteria, but then I thought that that's not conducive to kids actually taking a test because of pots and pans banging and just, you know, if stuff goes out as far as the power to their computer and that kind of thing. So we will be taking it in the tests in your classrooms. The environment, of course, you'll have a clock, you'll have pencils, you'll have scratch paper. We don't do graph paper, but you will not have calculators. I'll give you a sign. I'll give you no electronic devices. I'll give you your test manual, student test rosters, test tickets, accommodations. Really won't be something that you'll have to worry about. That'll be us pulling them in small groups. Testing device, of course, that's going to be the kids' Chromebooks. Mouse if needed, which they will have one if you need one, or if they need one. We have plenty of the USB plug-in mice. So we have a bunch of them if we need them. Headsets for read alouds, which we don't need. No one needs a read aloud here. Calculators we're not using in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Of course, this is the item types. I've already sent this to 3rd, 4th, and 5th just so that they could see the types of items that are going to be on the test this time. Some things are a little bit different. There are more technology enhanced questions. Math, definitely going to have more of those. These are just the different types of questions, which y'all have already seen them, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Georgia Milestones, the max time that they can take. Of course, we will take English language 1 on one day, 2 and 3 will be on one day, math, and then science on one day. And then that 5th day will be makeup. And these are just the max times, but we don't have to use that. You know, if they need it, then we will go the extra, just like always. But if they did say if they are taking the test and they have not reached the minimum time, you do not have to sit there for the 45 minutes and just look at each other. It is this year, if they have taken the test and they're all done, then they can submit and be done. So you don't have to say, well, we have to sit here for 45 more minutes, which I would encourage, you know, of course, but they don't have to just sit there and just, you know, wait and wait and wait. Every schedule that I've created as far as test taking will be on the max test time, so we don't run into any snags. And when it says reduced times, it's just talking about, there are some reduced times. I think it's in math and science and maybe English 2, 3, but it's only like reduced by 5 minutes. And they're talking about the max that you can go, not necessarily the typical test, but the max time that they can go. Of course, this is what a test ticket looks like up here. All kids will have their username and they'll have their password, they'll have their grade, and then the actual section that they're taking as far as whether it's ELA section 1, ELA section 2, and then they'll have a test ticket for ELA section 3. They have a test ticket for every section that they'll take that day. The kid verifies that this is their name, and they always sign their test ticket. Testing accommodations will be here, but of course, like I said, you don't have to worry about that. I will be printing test tickets. We will check out like we did last year. Everybody gets a binder, and it will be, you know, you'll have all your information in there, and I'm going to go over that later on at the very end. But you'll see test tickets, but then you'll also see a student roster that has everything listed on there as well. So are your students ready? Y'all, this is so important that you take them to that Georgia experience online and let them not only manipulate the different types of questions, whether, you know, those enhanced text features and all of those drop downs and things, but please let them go on there and practice using the tools, because the tools are very, very important to learn how to manipulate, because you don't want a child to miss a question just because they didn't you know, manipulate the actual program correctly, which could happen. So you'll go to that, you go to Georgia Test Experience, and it goes to, you know, all of these different test questions, but you'll see where they can answer, you'll see drop down menus, you'll see all of those enhanced features that they're talking about, but you'll also see the tools that are up there for them to use. They can flag a question. So if they flag a question in the very end, it'll come back and show them a screen, and they'll see questions that they have flagged that are still not answered. So they can always go back to those. But these are some of those things, you know, that they're going to work on as far as the different item types, the cut, paste, undo, redo. Just practicing all those tools, because there's tools here, and then there's also those tools up here. They will this year have a line reader. They can use it to track the single line of text while they're reading. So that is a new feature this year that they highlighted, but these are the different universal tools that they'll have: cross off, highlighter, magnifier, and then of course all of those cut, paste, copy, all of those. Online tools and Insight, and that's the testing actual software program that the state of Georgia uses. It's called Insight. So masking available for all students. They can mask information. Make sure, I know that we've had a problem before with copying and just pasting directly from the article. I think somebody got you know, dock some points just because they were just copy and pasting straight from the article, which I know y'all go over that for sure. And it's talking about, you know, adding options. This is actually a video they can mask. I don't know if you want to use that or not. I mean, it might help some students, but it makes me nervous that they would leave something covered up. But totally up to you, because it's going to be up on there. So large text and graphics is another online tool. That's just that magnifier that they can use, and they can magnify it, you know, by 1.5 or 2. We don't use calculators. Accommodations, audio online, we don't use. These are just basic accommodations that some schools will use as far as background colors and text colors for those kids that are visually impaired or sign. So during the test, of course, all of the computers will have that DRC on-site, Insight Online Assessment. They assured us, they being the district, that we would not have to go in and do any type of update to the program. So hopefully that will launch and it will work. You'll have the student ticket. Now, of course, you'll go here in the orangey red color to do a practice test and to use those online testing tools. So this is where you can go, but I'll show you a little bit later. But over here is where this top green, the end of grade, spring main, that's where we're going to go and we're going to take the GMAS. So they'll click on that. Of course, they'll get their test ticket. And once they click on it, they're going to verify that that's their name on the test ticket. And then on their test ticket, they will have a login, a username, and they'll have a password. It says student logins for better student experience. I mean, we've been fine in the past. I don't see an issue with that. But anyway, on their test ticket, they put their username, their password, they sign in. And then it takes them to the test. Now, if a child gets sick during the test, if a student gets sick, they get sick prior to the start of the test, upon returning to school, the student will complete the test in its entirety, and test is scored as is, but it does not, we don't have to do anything with Godot. If a student gets sick after having completed section 1 but before section 2, upon return to school, the student will complete section 2 of the test, and it will be coded as an irregularity because they stopped in the middle of, one section and the other. If the student gets sick while testing in either section 1 or section 2, the whole test will be invalidated. So just make sure before you start, which I know y'all stress with your parents, don't come to school if you're sick. And I mean, I think that's pretty much a hot topic this day and time, as everybody, they have to go home if they're sick. So I don't see this being an issue. It never, we've had one or two, a couple diapers here and there, but we took care of that. So hopefully that won't happen. Okay, so if we have network issues, which I hope we don't, fingers crossed, you'll see this message. And of course, I'm going to be in both halls and, just rotating, going back and forth. And I think what I'm going to do is have my walkie, since all of you have a walkie-talkie, just in case you get some kind of message or some child acts up, which they never do, but maybe if they get sick or that kind of thing, and I'm on hall 1, that you can radio me and I can hurry up and get to 2. So, because I'm going to be going back and forth. But if we do get this message, don't panic. Just stick your head out the door, call me on the radio, and I'll come help. The TAM script, of course, that's that test administration manual. Just make sure that you read it verbatim. Don't deviate from the script. Read it just like it is. Testing irregularities. We'll have a form just like always, and I'll show you this at the end. These are just some examples of some of those irregularities that could happen during the test. Student doesn't receive the accommodation that they're supposed to, would be an irregularity, which is not on you. That would be me. A student becomes ill. If they go to the bathroom and stay gone too long, that's an irregularity. If there's any type of disruption in the testing environment, it's not necessarily coded as an irregularity, but we always just put it down because we don't want, anything to come back to Britt David. And then I always just input the irregularity, and they can decide what they want to do with it downtown. Improper student activity, viewing other students' tests, which we have. The desks are going to be separated, and the questions are, scrambled. They're not one right after the other. I'm sorry, y'all. And they have a different form. And just like always, I'll show you at the end. I know I keep saying at the end, but the seating chart that I normally give y'all, I'll give you their form numbers and all that stuff again, so you can make sure that they're seated in the right area so that you don't have to worry about that. Their computers will be locked down once they enter the testing Insight software. Of course, just like always, we take up smartwatches, any type of tablets, ebooks, cell phones, and you can just sit those aside, put them in your desk drawer or something, just make sure they don't go off. Recording responses, which they shouldn't have if you take up all of that. This is just some do's and don'ts for active monitoring, which y'all always do such a good job of walking around, monitoring their progress, assisting students with their technology needs, just making sure that the kids are in the right section, which is not as difficult now that it's computerized. When it was on that Scantron, good Lord of Friday, you had to make sure that they matched up everything, which is not as hard now, but making sure they have the correct test ticket is very important, and that they don't bring those prohibited items. And then it says planning activities to do after they finish. We can talk about that and figure out how we want to handle that. It's never been an issue in the past. So we'll, you know, I think we should just continue. Ms. Gardner, what do you think about just what we've done in the past? Did you say you think so? Just continue.
Yeah, continue what we've always done, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And of course, don't, you know, sit at your desk doing personal work, which y'all don't. Answer test content questions, point to test content, review test, you know, and take pictures and share the content. Leave students or test materials unattended, allow students to have access to cell phones or electronic devices, and do not allow students to have access to any unauthorized materials. Improper monitoring. Test examiners should never review test content, which you can't because it's locked down. You know, and as they're taking the test, just make sure that you don't discuss, you know, any of the testing material, the questions, that kind of thing. Memorize test content, discuss test content with the students, take photos, share the test comment through social media. I mean, obviously someone, they've done this or it wouldn't be on here, which just blows my mind. Cell phones, of course, you can't have a cell phone, they can't have a cell phone. And we'll just make sure, you know, this is just in the event the examiner confirms during test the student has, you know, a device, what would happen, which we'll deal with that as, you know, but if we monitor and do what we're supposed to on the front end, that shouldn't happen. Because I think in most 3rd, 4th, and 5th, y'all store backpacks and things in a closet, right? Or away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me think on that one. Would Jennifer say it?
They carry their book bags around with them now, but I mean during testing, obviously, I mean they can hang them on their little cubbies.
Okay.
But we don't have closets. I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter. We have a place for them to store them.
Okay. Oh, that'll be good. That's good. Just to get them away from them so that they don't have any. I just don't want them to be, you know, distracted or tempted to do anything, you know. But we can talk if they have cubbies or if you have closets or they have hooks, that kind of thing, or just put them in the back of the classroom. Just get them away from them would be fine. Okay, so when they're done with the test, always at the end, there's a review and end test, and the review is going to have, you can return to questions, and if you have unanswered questions, you can kind of see down here at the bottom, that's kind of the key that they'll use, but they'll hit review and end test, and it'll show you a screen full of every single question, just the number, and it will have a check by answered or unanswered, or you flagged it. So they can visually see, I have answered every question, I'm good to submit, because once they hit that submit gray button, you know, it's over, it's submitted, it's turned in, they can't go back. And then they'll, you know, once they submit, they end test, and then that ends the session completely and takes them out. After testing is complete for the day, of course, you'll collect test materials from each student as they complete. You'll have their test ticket, you'll have scratch paper, you'll take it up whether it's used or unused. You'll have your testing roster. And then, of course, like we always do before I give you any of your packets or notebooks, I'll count everything, and then once you bring them back, I'll count them again to make sure we're good. And just verify that everything is turned in and numbers match. Of course, these are some resources that the DOE has actually published. I used a lot of these for our website on Britt David's for parents to have access to. And I pulled everything that I thought would be helpful for them. These are training resources that you can go to. They can have access to them as well. So if you need further clarification of something, or you want to, or if you need to see a video, or if you need to take an online course on it, that's where they'll be. Okay, this is what I was talking about at the end. So this is the schedule. And I gave you this so, we still haven't been clear to share it with parents, because Mercedes is still working up an email or some type of communication for parents. So hopefully she'll have that soon so we can give this to them, because traditional students, traditional students for 3rd, 4th, and 5th will come the week of April 26th through the 29th and the 30th, because those will be makeups. Those will be days that we'll be making up things. They will flip-flop the next week. So May 3rd through the 7th, virtual students will come and take the assessment, and traditional students will stay home. So because Walker, I'll just use Walker for an example. Walker is a traditional student. He's going to come the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, take the assessment. And then the week of May 3rd through the 7th, he will be at home, and he will be doing virtual learning or asynchronous. Why are you looking like that? Yes.
Me or Jennifer? Because here's okay, our district, it just is befuddling to me. Like, how hard is her job? Why is it taking her so long to get an email out to the parents so that they can plan for this? Like, this is a big deal for parents. Like,
especially the single parents.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there was comment brought up during the training that some schools didn't feel that it was fair for traditional kids to come to school, take the test, and then 300 of them stay home the next week while 25 come in and take a virtual test.
right.
So I don't know if there was conversation on that, and maybe that's why it's taken her so long to come up with, an email or some type of communication. I don't know, because this doesn't seem real hard to put out in an email or a
Jody,
ma'am.
when they come, Jody, will they be here all day, or will the virtual kids just come for their testing window and leave? Do you know anything about that?
No, they're going to go testing window and leave.
They are.
That's the way I understood it. I mean, they would just they're going to do the assessment and be gone, because they're virtual.
Right,
they don't need to be in the building.
Okay.
Which blows my mind. And I don't know whether some will opt out. That's what I'm waiting for, and for them to give some type of guidance, because, right now I don't know as far as who's going to opt out, who's going to come, what do we do? I've got a schedule ready for them to take it, but, it's just figuring out who's going to be here and that kind of thing.
But Jody, the K through 2 will be here the whole time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure they knew that.
Yes, ma'am. And that's, the notes over here on the side, rolling makeups will occur throughout. So if Johnny misses the assessment on Monday, which would be ELA 1, and that's going to be for all grade levels, 3 and 5 will be in the morning, and 4th will be in the afternoon. But if Johnny misses it on Monday and he shows up Tuesday, he'll take ELA 2, 3, and then I'll pull him hopefully Monday and get him done with ELA 1. K1 and 2, they will be in the building. They will be going about their business, and so will SPED. But there will be no specials during those morning times. and probably the afternoon as well. Those 2 weeks, because I'm using everybody as far as specials teachers are concerned. Sorry.
Hey, Jody, is the district's gonna communicate? It's Lisa. Sorry,
No.
about the about opting out. Is that gonna be like a internet thing where they do a survey, or are we gonna?
They didn't know at the time of training. I hate to say that, but they didn't know how they were going to handle that.
Okay.
That was going to be something they had to discuss. Ruthie was going to talk to Patrick and figure out, if it was going to be something we do on our end, or if it's going to be something that they construct and, send out to everyone. So hopefully in the next coming days, I hope I hear something soon. And, I can give you some guidance, because I can't stand, not knowing. And of course, asynchronous learning and instruction shall occur for non-testing students throughout the testing window. And you can see over here exactly what they're taking on those days. And I know, I know that's kind of vague, and I know you've been given that information, but as soon as I hear something, I promise you'll be the first to know. That's how we're going to handle that. The way that I have it scheduled right now, 3rd and 5th, of course, we'll take it in the morning, take your assessment in the morning, and then there will be a certain time to go to the cafeteria to pick up lunches, go back to rooms, eat, and then come back, and throw those away. And hopefully we'll have some trash pickup. Hopefully we can get that picked up. But pick up and eat in the classroom for those 2 weeks. But you will get, of course, the lunchtime adjustments like I always do. You'll get, we won't get lunch coverage, but testing information as far as a schedule of everything. And then every teacher, just like always, will get your schedule, where you're supposed to be, the class you're covering, and then class you're testing. Pairs will also get this as well. And it's being recorded, so teachers, those of you that have paras, I will send you the link. Please just make sure that your paraprofessional watches this recording, and they'll have to sign off on my door. I'm going to send the ones that participate today a Google form, and you just type your name in, send it to me, so you don't have to worry about coming up here and all that mess. This is the seating chart that I was telling you about, like we always do. I'm going to go through and print test tickets for everyone, figure out what form they're on, and then I will give you, I can't give you a layout of your room, but you can give me a layout of your room. You know how your room is organized. So just knowing that form, Johnny doesn't, he has, form 1, and Susie has form 1. They don't need to be sitting together where they could see each other. But so that will be a little bit different, because all of your rooms, your setup will be different. I guess I could just do like rows. I'll think about that. I think I'll just let y'all construct that.
Yeah, we already have our own seating charts anyway.
That's right.
That's one less thing you have to worry about. We already have them anyway. So.
Okay. Well, I will just provide you with, like I always do, the form number and then every subject. And then that way y'all can place them. In your notebook, you'll have a daily attendance so that I can keep track of who I've got to make up. And then this is that testing regularity sheet that we always have. You just put the date, the examiner's name, what you were testing, whether it was ELA, science, math, and if it was 1, 2, 3. And then down below these dots is where you'll write exactly what happened. And then I will put it in. You just leave it in your notebook, and then I go through and I input all that information if there's anything that happens throughout the day or during the testing. This is, of course, our sign in, sign out. This will be just like always, the number you received, the number you're returning, that kind of thing, who checked it out, who checked it in, who it was verified by, and then each child will actually have to sign, of course, like their test tickets out and test tickets in. You'll put them in the envelope and return those with your notebook. So you'll be receiving this form for students to sign out, but this will be my form to keep up front, just like always. I'm going to give you a GMAS readiness examiner and Proctor's checklist just to make sure that you've done everything and you've read tests. You know, this is just formality, things that we just have to do based on, you know, just good over and our research and accountability, but looking at test security information and knowing your role as a test examiner and Proctor's too. And you'll just go through all of this information, check what you've done, sign it, and then turn it into me so that we can make sure that we've done everything and we're prepared before testing begins. And that's all. So a lot of things are the same, but, and then, you know, a lot of things are different. Anybody have any questions that hopefully I can answer?
Jody, I got a quick question. In regards to like our exclusion letters and all that stuff, did they say anything about that? You know, if kids say they have a headache, we're supposed to send them home. I could check with Tracy Fox, but did they mention anything about that?
No, they didn't. They didn't say anything about that. I don't know. You know, I don't know if they just finished the test first and then, or if that's considered a sickness that we need to get them out of here before they test.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, they didn't say.
All right.
Anybody else? All right. Well, never mind. I was going to address chats, but I can see they're just funny chats. Because yeah. Okay. Well, that's all I have, y'all. And I will be... Who said that?
It's Mary Allen. I don't have my, okay, hold on. Sorry. Hey, can you see me?
I'm looking for you. I can't find. There you are. I see you.
Okay. Question. So on the schedule where in-class kids are testing on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday's makeup, and then we have the virtual, will the in-class students be expected to come back that Thursday, Friday that week, or is that one of those we don't know the answer yet?
You're talking about wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to get back to the schedule, Mary Ellen. Okay. So I have to see it. Okay. Say it again now. I'm sorry.
So I think when you, sorry, I'm in Lindsay's room. When you had the schedule up there, it looked like it was, so like ELA part 1 was on Monday, 2 and 3 was on Tuesday, math was on Wednesday, and then, yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So then like for 4th and 5th, we don't test science, and then nothing on Friday.
Right.
So will in-class students, like when the virtual students are coming in, will in-class be expected to come in that Thursday, Friday?
I would say yes.
So
let me reach out to Ruthie and find out. Because I would think the 30th and the 7th, they would definitely, I don't know. I want to say no, that they have to stay out that whole time because they don't want to
cross-contaminate.
Yeah. Even though I'm going to be testing them in the cafeteria and wham bam, get them out, so that they don't affect our lunch schedule for that second week. So really only eating 1 week in your class, not 2, because that virtual, I'm going to start them at 8:15. Whoever's here, we're going to get it done and be done by 9:45 at the latest on the longest day. Let me ask her, and I'll ask her too if she has any insight on when Mercedes would be releasing that email so that we can plan a little bit more.
Okay.
Jody, I have a question. This is Miss Hewitt. Like for 1st grade, I know you said no specials. Will we go to the cafeteria outside? I know at Dorothy Height, lunch was delivered and it was like basically couldn't enter the hallway. like noise purposes?
No, we will, the way that I have it planned right now, Taylor, and it could change, who knows what's gonna happen. But I have us testing 3rd and 5th from 8:15 to 9:45, and then from 10 to 11:30, I've got staggered pickup times for lunches, sack lunches in the cafeteria. So everybody would be able to move around the building from 10 to 11:30
Okay.
to get their lunches, to move, get lunches, get back to their classrooms so that we can begin testing promptly at 12 so that we don't run into, dismissal times.
And then for like recess so y'all will test in the afternoon. So we have recess at 12:15. So probably not going to recess then.
No,
right? Okay.
No, because they'll be in their classrooms, 3rd,
Right.
4th, and 5th, and 4th is right there by the playground.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Unless we can I know last year Miss Garner taking them to the park. Would that be something that we could do for younger ones? To the park or down to the track?
I thought we weren't allowed to go across street to the park because of liability issues.
Or even to the gym. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no tested grade level on that hallway.
Yeah.
Because bless their
I know,
heart.
that's a long time.
Ooh.
A long time for nothing, but not for
Ooh-wee.
nothing. It's a long time not to go outside. So,
We are able to use the park. We just can't have an organized activity over there like field day or
okay, good.
turkey trot and stuff like that. But if a class wants to go play for a little bit, they can.
Okay. We could also just utilize the gym though.
I mean, I wouldn't see why not, because Coach is not going to be in there. She'll be testing.
Okay.
And I can come up with, looking at y'all's schedule and that kind of thing, figuring out a rotation for when y'all can go, because the upper grades are going to need to get outside too. So I don't know if it's going to be something that maybe, the lower grades go out in the morning and upper grades go out in the afternoon, or I don't know. I'll figure something out, because they got to get outside for sanity, teachers too. Anybody else? If y'all think of questions, just let me know. I'm going to email Ruthie right now about the email from Mercedes and then those dates in the end. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. And as soon as I get clarification and go ahead from them, I'll go ahead and give you your schedule as well. Ms. Garner, Mr. Collier, y'all have anything? Monica, do you have anything?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Well, thank y'all. I tried to
Thank
keep
you.
it short.
Thanks for everything. Thanks, Jody.
You're
Thank
welcome.
everybody.